Hi, it's me, Clifton again with the Young Prep. Forgive the suspenders, it's Easter, had to wear bright pink. And today, the video that I will be going over is your vehicle's maintenance. So I drive a 1998 Dodge Ram. It's considerably easier to work on than modern vehicles due to the fact that it has no computer system. Well, no major computer system. It has a tiny one, but I don't ever have to do anything with that to work on the truck itself. So some of the tools that I keep in the truck to help maintain it are what I'll go over in this video. And the first part of this is I'll tell you about how you should learn about your vehicle. The most important thing is getting your vehicle owner manual. This is the original one from 1998. It has been in the truck for decades now. Still has some of my dad's papers that he wrote phone numbers on and thing, and my mom's papers. Probably my mom's actually. She drove this for way longer than he did. And I keep this in there. If there's anything I have to do, I typically check this. Unless I've already done it before, then I don't normally do. So that's very important to keep on hand. That way, if you don't know what you're doing, you can check that and see if you're out of service or whatever. If you have service, I would recommend using Google or a YouTube video, just because it makes it a little bit easier to see what you're doing. But as you'll find in your owner's manual, it will list some things that are already in your vehicle, such as a jack. This one came with my truck back in 1998, and it works just fine, so I've never had to replace it. It's underneath the rear seat, and then the kit that goes with it. So what makes it go up and down, and this tire iron here. So I have this, it's underneath the seat, it's always there, I never have to worry about where it is, it's simple to use, and I know it can pick up the truck. So it's very good to keep that on hand. And then there are some things that it recommends you keep in the truck. So back way long time ago, probably before I was born, I'm not sure, my dad made these jumper cables. He made them himself just from thick cord and clamps, and they work excellently. With these big trucks, they have 2 batteries in them, so you need some really thick, big cables to get it jumped and going. So I keep those on hand in case I ever have to jump this, which has happened more than once, because when you drive an old truck, you have old truck problems. So those are nice to have on hand. And then because I don't really like that tire iron that came with it, I keep this one in here. This has actually been in there, again, longer than I've been alive. This one, I know for sure, has been in there longer than I've been alive, because when I was little and they drove me around in this truck, I remember it being in there. I actually got a black eye from it one time, but it's very good, very big, very useful, has a lot of torque, and in my opinion, it's better than the other one because it's a cross-section, so you can, just like that, really easy, and you get them going off. So I keep that in there as well. So that's the most basic maintenance. That's what you'll change a tire, jump your batteries with. But sometimes you need a little extra help. You know, it's not always going to be a flat tire or a dead battery. Sometimes it might be a bad starter or a loose cable. And for that, you have to keep things on hand, like this socket set. This is a socket set my dad has had forever. I don't remember when he purchased it. I don't remember how much it was, but I keep it in here now. It's millimeters, so it's not the most versatile, but it was free for me, and it fits almost everything in there. And they're all 3/8 drive, which is important because I keep a 3/8 drive ratchet as well. So I keep this in there with all the sockets. That way I am able to use the sockets. But then for my truck, the most common bolt or nut is 10mm. So I also keep this 10mm wrench in there. It's very useful. Again, this one I've used many times. I keep it in there because it is what I have to use most of the time. And sometimes you don't want to use a socket, you want to use a wrench. So I keep that in there as well. But then I also keep this nut driver set. It goes from 7/16 to 3/8. So pretty small to pretty big, and very useful. I don't have to use it all that often. And if you've noticed, I've kept most of these in their original case, just because it makes it easier to keep them together and know what you're using. I also keep these wobble sockets in there so I can get those bolts that are hard to reach. And speaking of bolts that are hard to reach, I keep a couple of extensions in there. I keep this 1-foot extension in there, and I keep this 2-foot extension in there. I haven't had to use them all that much, but when changing the starter, the 2-foot extension was really useful, or when getting those harder to reach bolts, that 1-foot extension is really useful. I also keep, and these I haven't ever had to use, but they were $3, so it was an excellent deal. They were on clearance at Tractor Supply. It's just a set of various pliers that can be used for any number of things. Crimping, stripping, clamping, whatever. They're very useful, very helpful. I haven't had to use them yet, but at some point I know I will, and $3 was an excellent price that I couldn't turn down. I also keep this screwdriver set, which was $20, and I hated to pay that, but I was about 150 miles from home when my left blinker went out, so left rear blinker went out, so I went into the Walmart, I bought this, and I bought the 1170 that I needed for it, and I replaced it there, and then drove home. So it was a 150-mile drive that I needed the blinker for, and I picked this up. I've kept it in there ever since. It has a lot of bits, a handful of sockets, and a couple of extensions, so it's just a very useful tool. And I would have returned it, but clearly I needed it once, I'll need it again. It's a good thing to have on hand. And then I keep this electrical repair kit. This has everything you would need for any electrics. Before you do any electrical work though, you do have to take off your battery cables, that way you don't shock yourself to death. But this has everything from tape to butt splices, and crimpers to shrink wrap. So it's very useful, very versatile. It can do a lot of things, and it will, for this truck, do pretty much everything. For newer trucks and newer cars it might not, but for this one it will do most everything without a hitch. And then for some of those bolts that metric won't do or the nut drivers won't get, I keep a variety of adjustable wrenches in there. I keep this big foot-long one. I keep a couple of medium-sized ones. I keep this tiny one. And then on my person at all times, I do keep a little 4-inch one, which is useful not just for vehicle maintenance, but day-to-day life things. You never know when you need a little adjustable wrench to get whatever you need pulled off. And that's pretty much it tool-wise. Some of the other things that I keep in there for maintenance are, I keep this blanket. You've actually seen it in the first video I did. I put this underneath the truck so that when nuts and bolts fall out, they're caught on this, and so that I don't have to go bareback underneath the truck. It makes it a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more easier. And then I keep a lot of fluids in the truck. So again, when you drive an old truck, you have old truck problems. So I keep various fluids that I need from time to time. I was actually using it as a phone. I have Ignore the Brick, adhesive for the headliner. I have power steering fluid. I have a AC recharge kit because in the Texas heat you need the AC. I have .3 brake fluid. I have some Windex and other cleaning fluids. I have diesel antifreeze so that when it does get cold in Texas, though it's not often, I have that on hand. And then I have plenty of other things in there. And so that is what I keep in my truck for maintenance. Obviously, dependent on your vehicle, you'll keep different things in there. And while I didn't show you how to do most of the things today, I have showed you what I keep on hand and what is good to keep on hand. In another video, I might show you changing a tire or replacing the starter or whatever comes up next on this truck, I'll probably show you how to do. So thank y'all for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one. Well, I guess let me give you another piece of information like I've done in the past few. Let's see. I've told y'all that moving is life. I've told y'all about heat and water. I guess, here's a good one. One of my friends, he also does a prepping channel at Little Man Big Opinion. I talked about him in the first one. He says often, prep what you eat, and eat what you prep, which is just a fun little phrase that he came up with. And it means if you're a picky eater, or even if you're not a picky eater, you know what you like. So you should prep what you like. And then when you prep it, you need to eat it too. Not everything will last 100 years or more. So you're going to have to eat it or throw it away. So you might as well eat it so you know how you're prepping it. That way you know how to do it differently next time if you messed up. So that's what I'll leave y'all off with. Prep what you eat, and eat what you prep. See y'all in the next one.